Greetings, everyone. It's great to be with you and learning with you again. The presentation today is entitled The Art of Radiating Love. In the May 1979 issue of the Rosicrucian Digest, there was a short and inspiring article by Gerard T. Lyle entitled The Art of Radiating Love. Later in the September 2017 issue of the Rosicrucian Beacon, there was an article by the same author with the same title that expanded on that earlier article. We're going to follow up and expand on the insights of these two articles and their intriguing message for us and for their call for us to radiate love as a way of life. To help inspire us in that regard, we'll share with you now an image from Rosicrucian Park in San Jose, California. You'll see now a beautiful stained glass window that's actually in the Rosicrucian Planetarium there. It was designed by past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis, who's the Chief Executive Officer of the Rosicrucian Order during this current cycle of the Order during the first half of the 20th century. The window was dedicated to his memory by the Amorc Employees Club in 1939, and it was meant as a fitting and symbolical memorial to the great work accomplished by that imperator, and we greatly benefit from his work to this day. For example, through the Rosicrucian texts that are available on the rosicrucian.org website, and in many, many other ways. You'll notice the sailboat on the lake. There's a rising hill or mound, and then there's the three steps on the base of the rose cross, and then there's the interlaced triangles, the relationship of the finite plane and the infinite plane, the triangle going down and the triangle going up. It sort of indicates the marriage of the material and the immaterial. And at the center from the rose and the interlaced triangles, there's tremendous radiations of the blue light related to the radiation of love that we're called to do in our own lives. You notice the rocky foreground, and there's a beautiful ancient mystical law that's expressed there, ad rosum per crucem, ad crucem per rosum, in the writings on the banner in red and black. That is, can be translated, attaining the rose through the way of the cross, attaining the cross through the way of the rose, or simply the rose by way of the cross and the cross by way of the rose, in a way that sums up much of our way of life and living, that we have challenging, uplifting experiences, and we grow and we're ennobled and increase our capacity to radiate love and have a great sense of well-being and can pass that on to others in service. I'll show you another view of this inspiring stained glass window designed by past Imperator H. Spencer Lewis. This actually originally appeared on the back cover of the Rosicrucian Digest. I'll give you a reference to it in the January 1986 issue. Take it in now as we prepare to have a period of meditation before we get into our main body of our presentation. One thing I like to think about is see the tremendous radiations of the blue light coming out from the rose at the center. The rose is a place where we unfold, we grow, and we learn in a symbolic way. The vertical and horizontal bars of the cross form our body, and where they meet is a new manifestation by the law of triangle, the law of manifestation, the rose unfolding, our soul personality unfolding. As we grow through our lives, we're polishing the mirror of the soul personality so it can increasingly reflect the divine, increasingly radiate the love of the divine to all. And by the triangles I mentioned earlier, interlaced on the finite and infinite planes, in the way the human being is a meeting of those two great planes. The sailboat, in a way, is like our lives guiding our course in life towards the rose cross, towards the divine symbols, toward our divine nature. Now, with this inspiring image and its enriching blue radiations of light, Let us take time now to turn inward, and we'll have a period of meditation, and we'll apply the art of radiating love. So with your eyes closed, I invite you to make sure you're comfortable whether you're seated or lying down. If you're seated, you have your palms in your laps, facing down, knees at right angles, flat on the floor. The temple of the body connected to the temple of the earth as we rise up into the temple of the divine in this meditation period. And take some deep neutral breaths, neither holding the inhalation nor holding the exhalation. Just enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breath. And I suggest you prolong the exhalation a little more than the inhalation to make sure that all the waste products and toxins are going out from the breath. Take in the rich and ennobling oxygen and nitrogen and other chemical elements, as well as what the Rosicrucians refer to as the vital life force, the VLF, that helps animate our body. As you take in those breaths, you'll feel the vital life force tingling in your body, not the tingling of feeling pins and needles, as the colloquial expression goes, but an enriching, ennobling, lightening the body. We do all these things so we can increase our capacity to radiate love as part of our mission in life. And as we prolong the exhalation of the breath, that'll activate the great vagus nerve that runs from the lower part of the brain to just below the gut. That kicks in or causes the relaxation response. And relaxation is fundamental to being whole, to being healed. These are things we can do not only during our meditation period, but as part of a way of life. The breathing is a profoundly simple act, but it's a profoundly lofty act because it helps spiritualize our being and helps us in the art of continually radiating love. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythm of the breaths, sensing through it the resonation with the higher and higher octaves of what Rosicrucians call the cosmic keyboard, the sea of vibrations that is the entirety of existence. Self-mastery consists in working in harmony of them, like a great pianist, not only on the regular size keyboard, but on the entire cosmic keyboard, higher and higher octaves. As we grow and strengthen our lives, we're able to play the cosmic keyboard for whatever is needed, often to the great astonishment of the outer self. But when the outer self surrenders by the law of obedience to the inner self, the master within, the divine within, we experience ourselves as a unity with all. We feel ourselves enriched, rejuvenated, and reborn. And then love will naturally flow as a byproduct. Just continue to enjoy the gentle rhythms of the breath. With your eyes closed, letting go of the visual stimuli, turning more and more inward. And with each breath inward, feel increasing calm, the great still center within us, and the divine within presence. And with each exhalation, feel that vagus nerve being automatically activated, causing us to relax more and hasten and intensify the healing processes within us. This is part of the wonderful system and order, the wisdom of the Holy Temple. Place of dwelling of the Master within, the God within, the divine within, that we become increasingly aware of through the practice of meditation and other exercises we learn in spirituality and the teachings of the Rosicrucian order and our weekly monographs and their applications. Now soon we'll begin our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum, following the booklet Liber 777, which I'll give you a reference to. And Karen pastes this information in the chat near the end of the presentation. Before we ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum, just take a moment to turn inward even more. Check in with yourself, what you're feeling. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance. Nothing gets swept under the carpet. For as it activates our whole being, we're all the more able to deal with whatever needs to be done, whatever challenge comes our way, whatever may seem daunting to the other self. When it works with the inner self, it can be handled with great satisfaction, great enrichment, a whole new reframed perspective, far more mature way of living. And this is part of our evolvement of the soul personality. Whatever's happened today, if you're feeling a little beat up or roughed up by the rough and tumble of the day, that's okay. Meditation is a profoundly soothing and healing act. Or if you've had a very gentle, calm day, just continue on that path. And let us begin our ascent to the heights of the celestial sanctum now. And to do so, let us further purify ourselves, just as we purified ourselves through the deep neutral breath. Let's use an invocation and prayer at this time. And I invite you to repeat after me. May the divine essence of the cosmic infuse my being and cleanse me of all impurities of mind and body, that I may enter the celestial sanctum and attune and commune in pureness and worthiness. So mote it be. Now use your imagination and your inner psychic faculties to picture yourself rising up from your home or house where you're dwelling. And you can look down on the home and rise up faster and faster again and see your neighborhood and the system and order and radiate love and well-being to all down below, all things material and immaterial. And rise up higher again and see the city or town or village or geographic area you dwell and radiate love and well-being down as you rise up and feel the exhilaration of the ascent. For as we ascend, we'll go faster and faster, increasingly transcending space and time so we can go way beyond the speed of light. As you rise up, see the province or state where you dwell and see the geographic landforms there. There may be seashores and sea or lakeshore and lakes, or hills or mountains and rivers and weather systems below. Keep rising up. Now seeing below you the great nation or country where you dwell and see all its system and order and weather systems. Radiate love and well-being down to all there, material and immaterial. And continue to rise up, going faster and faster and enjoying the exhilaration of the ascent, using inner spiritual force to rise up. Now is not the time to be passive. Use great inner strength, as past Grand Master Robert E. Daniels admonished us to do. For as we rise up faster and faster, we go deeper and deeper within ourselves through the law of correspondence, as above, so below. Now take in the entire continent where you dwell. See the beautiful features of it. And now as you rise faster and faster, take in the hemisphere, either the north or the south hemisphere where you dwell. And now take in the entirety of the great globe of the earth, the oblate spheroid, the beautiful blue jewel of the earth. See all the water, particularly in the blue, beautiful blues, like those that radiate from in the stained glass window from the Rose Cross. See the various landforms and sense the rotation of the earth about its great axis with the north and south poles. See the great system and order of this temple of the earth. And then look up and see the other planets of our solar system and the great star, the fiery ball, and see the huge planet of Jupiter and the great rings of Saturn and some smaller planets such as Mercury, Mars, and Venus. See how they're evolving about the sun in great elliptical orbits in wonderful system and order. All these spinning and rotating actions from the microscopic at the atomic level, the electrons, the protons, and neutrons, but also this great actions that go on with the temple of the body, their vibrations and spinning, the rotations of the earth about its axis, the moon about the earth, the rotations of the planets, and now look up and see myriad stars as we leave our great home of the solar system and pass by quasars and pulsars and black holes and red giants and the nebulae, the interstellar gases and the myriad stars. Speed by them and sense the great harmony of vibrations that the ancients called the harmony of the spheres, the great music of the cosmos. As we continue up higher and higher, going straight up, all the way up, we sense now the large-scale structure of our galaxy, our great home, the Milky Way galaxy, and its great spiraling arms, and sense how it is also spiraling around. And with tremendous speed, way beyond the speed of light, let's go right out from the Milky Way galaxy and look back at the great arm where we call home and see the Milky Way galaxy in its entirety and its great system and order. And look up and see other galaxies, some spiraling and some in other forms, and the myriad stars and interstellar gases and nebulae, and the great webs, gases that are connecting the galaxies, and see myriad galaxies and stars all gathered together in our local cluster, and marvel at how these galaxies are also revolving about a great axis at the center of our cluster, and rise right out from that cluster and pass by myriad stars again, the pulsars and the quasars and the black holes, keeping great balance of the cosmos, and sense how there's many, many clusters of galaxies in the universe. In fact, we sense an even larger scale structure with a supercluster, using the terminology of astrophysicists and astronomers, which, like the cluster having many galaxies, the supercluster, our local supercluster, has many, many clusters of galaxies that are revolving, rotating about its great central axis, and exit right out from that supercluster and see many stars and great interstellar webs and the wonderful system and order, inspiring colors and sounds, and use your full psychic faculties to take in the entirety of creation, and sense now many, many superclusters that are all revolving about a great cosmic axis of the cosmos, the universe itself. Take in the stupendous harmony and order, the music of the divine, the full range of the cosmic keyboard faculties. So we use our inner faculties and psychic senses to take in the full range of vibrations. The great symphony of music imitated on earth by great composers and artists and musicians. But this is even far more beauty because it's the actual experience now hinted at by the inspired art forms on earth. And continue to rise up closer and closer to the great cosmic axis. And as we get closer to it, you can slow up and come to its midpoint. And when you reach it, stop and dwell there and look around you at the stupendous harmony or the great unity that is the cosmos. And sense what the Rosicrucians call the cosmic. Cosmos and its universal intelligence back of it and all natural and spiritual laws. Sense the cosmos and the cosmic both in their material and immaterial aspects. And applying the instructions of the booklet, Liber 777. Picture there your celestial sanctum. You may wish simply to have it as the inspiring view of nature all about you at the center of the cosmos. Or maybe an inspiring place that you remember on earth that you often use, a sacred grove of trees, a beautiful meadow, or maybe a lake shore or a seashore, sensing the vibrations coming in from the lake or the sea, suggestive of the great vibrations of the cosmic keyboard. Or maybe a high hill or mountain, and you're taking in a view high up on that structure, sensing the expansive view suggestive of the cosmic sense, the consciousness of the cosmic, or the cosmic consciousness. Or some other special place in nature to you. Fill it in with all the sights and sound and use to enrich emotions such as joy and associated with it and love associated with it. Or you may wish to picture your celestial sanctum as a sacred built structure like the Rosicrucian Temple, the Grand Temple at Rosicrucian Park in San Jose, California, or maybe a Christian cathedral or basilica or shrine, or maybe a Buddhist prayer hall or stupa, or a Hindu temple or mandir, or a Sikh gurdwara, or some other sacred structure from one of the world's spiritual traditions. Fill in the sights and sounds, make it real, make it vital, feel the exhilaration in forming this visualization, just like you felt the exhilaration of rising up in the cosmic. For as we rose up in the cosmic by the law of correspondence, we went deeper and deeper within ourselves. At this center, the heights of the celestial sanctum, this deep, still center, the center of the cosmos, at the center of our being. Continue to fill in the sights and the sounds. You may wish to sense smell of incense rising up, suggesting of our rising up into the cosmic, attuning with the cosmic. And since there, the others are seekers on the teleconference with us today, and the visible and invisible masters and other spiritual seekers, the Grand Masters and other Grand Lodge officers of our order, and the Imperator may be conducting a special convocation at this time. You may wish to picture symbolic stained glass like the window in Rosicrucian Park that we spoke of with Rosicrucian laws and principles. And once you've got it filled in with the inspiring sights and sound that are an exhilaration to be there, and you feel your soul personality being charged up and being polished as the divine within rises up, be all the more present with us. Let us dwell for a time, releasing our visualization in peace profound, the most profound form of peace spoken of by the Rosicrucians. And let us dwell in stillness. If you find your mind wandering, just lovingly and gently bring it back to the still center and the gentle rhythm of your breath at the heights of the celestial sanctum. Just feel whatever there is to feel. Meditation is a profound act of non-avoidance, as mentioned earlier. We ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum for various reasons. One is for a general enlightenment, but another is to seek inspiration for a particular project we may be working on, or to seek the way forward in a challenging experience on earth. Seek the infinite wisdom of the divine within. Or maybe an answer to a particular question that we wish to petition the cosmic for. But if you have post a question, make it simple, make it vital, make it serious, and focus it in your mind before you like in blazing letters in your consciousness, blazing in white against the black screen of your consciousness. And when it's well held, release it, assured that the answer will come forward during this meditation period or later as you go about your regular business. Continue to dwell in the deep stillness, the center of your being, the center of the cosmos. Now, as we continue our meditation, we'll undertake another spiritual operation of the work and worship of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc. We'll conduct a period of metaphysical aid, which pertains to the art of radiating love. We'll work as part of the silent council. I invite you to do so. In conjunction with the Council of Solace of our Grand Lodge, for all those persons who have petitioned for guidance and healing, and all those who may have petitioned your local Rosicrucian affiliate body for guidance and healing, and all sentient beings and persons that you know of or are aware are in need of guidance and healing, and all those throughout the cosmos who are in need of guidance and healing. Let us, from the center of our being, our still center, radiate out from us love and well-being like a great floodlight, like a great invisible sun within us. Let it radiate out, just as we used inner spiritual force to rise up into the cosmos and the cosmic. Let us use great inner spiritual force now to radiate the love and well-being out from us. You may wish to remember some deep spiritual experience you had where you felt great love, to get the love going and kindled again, like in a fireplace, burning bright, or someone that you love unconditionally. Think of them and radiate. Think of that love, but then for all that ne'er a need, radiate it out, as well as the love being, the love and well-being, healing. Just let it flow during this period of metaphysical aid. As the radiations of love and well-being flow out from you, I think you'll find that you're feeling enriched and ennobled, recharged. It's part of the law of karma. As you give, so you receive. If it happens, just note of it, take note of it, but continue to work selflessly with unconditional caring to radiate love and well-being to all in need. At a certain point, I think you'll find the love and well-being radiations will speed up, and you'll know that they're being received by those in need, for their need is great. And just as past imperator Christian Bernard charged us, whenever we ascend to the heights of the celestial sanctum, uses it of time also for metaphysical aid to radiate love and well-being. At a certain point, I think you'll find that the love continues and well-being continues to flow without conscious effort. And when that happens, just continue to dwell at the heights of the celestial sanctum in the deep still center with the increasing presence of the divine within. Now soon we'll begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. First, though, we'll formally conclude our period of metaphysical aid by saying, if it pleases the cosmic, it is done, so mote it be. Let us dwell now a while longer in this rendezvous with eternity, the heights of the celestial sanctum. Now, fratres and sorors and participants, will begin our descent from the heights of the celestial sanctum. You may wish at this time to invoke the law of gratitude, as we've evoked the law of service and the law of cosmic attunement. To be recognized with gratitude all those who have assisted us, all those who have loved us well, all those who have taught us well. One of the wonderful things about gratitude is it helps attune us with the cosmic and automatically start the radiations of love and well-being from us. Now let us begin our descent at tremendous speed, past the myriad stars and stellar phenomena, the planets, the quasars, the pulsars, the black holes, the superclusters of galaxies. Going faster and faster. We sense how the superclusters are revolving about the great cosmic axis, and let us home in on our local supercluster and enter into it and see all the clusters of galaxies within it revolving about that supercluster. And let us home in on our cluster, local cluster. And once within it, see all the different spiraling galaxies and galaxies in other forms, and the nebulae and all the interstellar gases and the great webs connecting the galaxies in tremendous system and order. And let us see in the distance the Milky Way galaxy, astounded by its beauty and its system and order, the great music and vibrations of its actions. And let us go down into the great arm, which is of the Milky Way galaxy where we dwell, and zoom past at tremendous speed all the stars, interstellar gases, the planets, the rogue planets. Sense the tremendous radiations and vibrations from the various phenomena there. And see in the distance our solar system, our special home, and our star, the great fiery ball of the sun. As you get close to the sun, home in on the beautiful blue jewel of the earth, the temple of the earth, our home. And come to the hemisphere where you dwell, the continent where you dwell, the country or nation where you dwell. See your province or state, and then the city or town or village or geographic area you dwell. And let us say together prayer and invocation to close. May the God of my heart sanctify this attunement of self with the celestial sanctum. So mote it be. And let us descend further into our neighborhood, our home or house, the room where we left off, back seated in the chair or lying down, however you're situated. You may wish to stretch and open your eyes, feeling rejuvenated, reborn, ennobled and enriched in every way. All the more ready for the work and worship of the Rosicrucian order today, discharging your mission in life and our presentation. Thank you. We continue now with our presentation, The Art of Radiating Love. You could be asked, what type of love is involved in this radiation of love that we're speaking about as making a daily practice, a way of life? Well, we experienced it during our meditation period just now. It was suggested to start the radiations of love going. We can find it helpful to think of a loved one who's loved us with unconditional caring and always had what was best in mind for us. Or we can think of a mystical experience where we can remember that tremendous love. You can think of it like lighting kindling wood in a fireplace to get going the fire of the larger pieces of wood to then start to radiate the love and well-being from us. In the English language, yes, we have the one word for love, and there's some synonyms, but in other languages, there's often more words, such as in Greek, there's the word agape as a particular type of love, and that's the type of love we're speaking of here. The love centered on the welfare of others, unconditional caring, loving kindness. This love has its inexhaustible source in the infinite resources of the divine within. The expression of this love cannot be sustained by the outer self on its own. It requires the surrender, that is the application of the law of obedience, the surrender of the outer self, also by using the law of humility, to be a channel for the fulfillment of the greatest law of all, the law of love. Now, as the outer self increasingly surrenders, not only during meditation, but throughout life, and a part learns this, how to do this through meditation, the living sun will shine forth, as spoken of by the ancient Egyptian adept, the Pharaoh Ignat, a central figure in the traditional history of the Rosicrucian Order Amorc, but also by the Rhineland master and visionary, the Abbess Hildegard of Bingen. We know too that the Master Yeshua, Master Jesus, said to say in Mark 12:31, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself." As we recently realize the depth of that statement and the brilliance of that statement, it takes courage to do that. And let there be no exceptions. This is the perspective of the Christ consciousness or the cosmic consciousness. And as we're drawn into that in a spiritual experience and meditation, we can more fulfill that adage of the Master Yeshua. Now, this love that we're radiating is for all sentient beings, all creatures, trees, plants, rocks, the entirety of the earth, everything that is in the cosmos. It's like the sun refuses its rays to none. It gives its rays to everyone without exception. That is what we're called to do. It's not something the outer self can sustain, but when it works as a co-agent, a co-partner with the cosmic, what seems impossible becomes possible. You can think of this like a floodlight within us, or the invisible sun, the living sun. Once obstacles are removed within ourselves, once we have more harmonious laws in our subconscious, how we guide our thinking in harmonious ways, as we work to have more harmonium in our life, harmony in various levels of our being that are covered by the Rosicrucian exercise, Rosicrucian teachings. We can have a great stability in our outer nature that can allow it to be that channel for the love of the divine within. As the great Sufi and mystic Rumi said, the love and its radiations is a matter of removing the obstacles. Then it will flow out, just like you can think of a floodlight that's covered by various cloths. As we purify ourselves, like we did in our meditation, both entering and exiting and during, take away the various cloths, without us having to consciously activate, love will flow out, because what it is to be a human being is to be open, letting the love flow with discernment, the master within. Now, Bibi wondered, how is this practice sustainable? Meditation and the radiating love draws us to face ourselves. But in so doing, they help show us the needed resolutions in our lives. There needs to be no expectation or attachment to the effects or results. There needs to be no idea that people will recognize how the love is being channeled to them and sense whatever the depth of our own spirituality may be attained. We need to think of ourselves as a child of the studies, hardly worthy of Rosicrucian recognition, as admonished in an earlier Rosicrucian code of life. That seems humbling to the outer self, but that's good. When the outer self is humbled, not humiliated, very different, humbled, it will be enriched and ennobled by the divine within, just as we surrendered in our meditation period. And the meditation period is intended to flood into our way of living throughout the day, not just when we meditate or prayer. Now, as much as possible, this practice needs to be done in a way that we are unknown to others and they are unknown to us. The strict approach will allow the love to flow even stronger through the holy temple of the body. The wisdom of the holy temple was set up to have love of this type radiate through it. It feels greatly at home with it and will be greatly healed by it. It is in this manner, even though it's done without any expectation of any return. For example, the autonomic nervous system will respond and adapt to the tremendous force moving through it. And the pineal gland in particular helps dampen down these higher rates of vibration and radiate them out, so they can handle higher and higher rates of vibration octaves of the cosmic keyboard. It's very important to note by the law of the triangle, when light and life are perfectly combined together, love arises and results. And to think of this in a very personal way, you can think of, well, light is our understanding of Rosicrucian laws and principles, our understanding and mastery of various forms of knowledge in life and how to apply those properly. But also the life is to have that strength and well-being, just as we breathe in and charge the vital life force in us. We have that radiant health, abundant health. We're all the more able to perfectly blend and more powerfully blend the light and the life for the love to flow and be sustained. Not in an on and off again way, but as a way of living. You know, as the meditative state flows into our lives after doing meditation, increasingly having that sense of unity and divine within, not only when we formally meditate, but in a way our whole life becomes a meditation. The experience of unity and radiation of love will be increasingly felt. They will naturally flow, as the Sufi mystic Rumi told us, and as various mystics in our Rosicrucian teachings make apparent to us. Now, it may be asked, how can we check if we're becoming proficient in this? And just like in meditation, it's something not to be concerned if our mind wanders. It's all part of the process. It's all part of growing up. It's all becoming a fully mature person that increasingly identifies with the divine within, the master within. Well, we can stop at various times of the day and frankly assess if we're radiating love, or what state of mind we're in and what state of heart we're feeling. At the end of the day, it's good, like Ben Franklin, a traditional Rosicrucian sage, to do, to take stock of how our day was, review our day. To what degree were we radiating love, having that deep sense of unity in things that we do. It's true we have many tasks, but as the outer mind works on them, the divine within continue to radiate the love and help guide us in our various tasks, whatever they are. Just like walking a labyrinth focuses the mind very carefully, but the divine within occasionally rises up. Just as in meditation, we may concentrate on the breath, for example, but that helps still the other mind so the divine within can increasingly declare itself and the radiations of love will happen naturally. Now, meditation and the effect of meditation throughout the day and night allows the radiation of love to become a habit. It's something that we can do without being so outwardly conscious through the subjective mind that it's being kicked in or done. As the mind is increasingly identified with the divine mind, the experience of unity and the radiation of love arise and are sustained. There's various spiritual traditions have talked about this in a way that the Christ principle becomes increasingly lived out, increasingly lives within us, or the Buddhahood becomes increasingly animated within us. It's the master within, our true nature, is increasingly identified with. One of the ways traditionally in mysticism this has been described is like our outer nature is like a sponge increasingly soaking up water, or outer nature's like a blacksmith has a rod that's being pounded and heated up and increasing different colors. The sponge of our outer nature and personality, or the iron rod, stays, but it's transformed and the increasing soaking up of water of tremendous heat. That's like when the divine within activates us and animates us and is helping guide us. It's our true guide in life, not the outer self. It's not its job. The outer self's job is through the work with the objective consciousness or objective mind, the subjective consciousness or subjective mind, and help with a guardian in our environment and so forth through the law reasoning, both inductive and deductive and related things. Now, it may be asked, how does this practice of radiating love relate to metaphysical aid that we did earlier? Or how does it relate to the human aura? And even more centrally, the purpose of mysticism? Well, as we experienced in metaphysical aid, as we radiate love and well-being, that helps with the healing, and we can do that formally during periods in conjunction with the Council of Solace, but as a way of life. The radiation of love is part of metaphysical aid. How does this relate to the aura? The Rosicrucians talk about the human being having both a material and immaterial nature. And when they come together like two poles of a magnet, and the magnetic field that's formed by magnet, same too with those two magnetic poles, the material and immaterial, the human being. The spirit energy, for example, and the vital life force energy, the nous, it forms a great magnetic radiation around the human being. And when we have great health and well-being and radiate love, the aura gets extended out. I remember once going to a workshop on stress management that was given by past Grandmaster Robert E. Daniels. And during that inspiring workshop, I still have the notes on review. There was conditions in the ballroom where the meeting was held, the lights, some of the lights down, and the way the lights were reflecting on. It was a wonderful opportunity to observe his aura. And it radiated out beautifully out from him. It was a beautiful violet blue, which is a highly spiritual and positive color that we learn about through the study of the human aura and the Rosicrucian teachings. And when he moved on the stage, you could see that the aura didn't move at exactly the same time. It was slightly lagged behind him. And you could sense the deep purple violet was a very beautiful color to look on. It was very enriching, great sense of love and well-being in it as well. The aura in its most concentrated form was extending out about 5 feet, but at other times it extended out much more greatly than that. And that's same too, when we radiate love and well-being, it extends our aura out. People can feel that, though we don't necessarily intend them to do so. If they're sensitive, they will feel that. However, the master within, the divine within, and their soul personality will pick up on the love radiations coming to them, just like in metaphysical aid being sent, without necessarily the outer objective consciousness of the person knowing what is going on. But this is something that is giving and receiving, and people will always receive with their good conscience to the guardian that it is within them. Also, I can mention that mysticism can be described as the art and science of love. So the radiations in love is part and parcel of practice of mysticism. Mystical experiences involve a deep sense of unity and love. Cosmic consciousness is needed to sustain this practice. In the cosmic conscious state, the radiating of love and well-being will naturally and automatically happen. And when the master within is experienced as living within us, as it truly is, but we increasingly realize that, and increasingly realize it's our true nature, the love will flow as a way of life. So before we conclude, I'll ask Karen to post in the presentation some resources in the group chat for you. And I'll say by way of conclusion that we have continued to explore Rosicrucian laws and principles and their application for self-mastery and harmonious living. We've considered the art of radiating love as a way of life on the mystical path. This practice increasingly happens as we develop the cosmic sense, the cosmic consciousness, as we remove obstacles or impediments in our ways of thinking, and as we develop more harmonious habits, that is, laws in the subconscious. In this manner, what was not possible for the outer self to do and sustain on its own becomes possible when it works and unites with the master within in self-mastery. Thank you.